What's up, guys? This is Dwayne. Welcome to another session of Time with Your Trainer. All right, today we're going to talk about BMI, some of the strengths, some of the weaknesses, and the history behind BMI. All right, the original BMI chart was actually invented by a Belgian mathematician named Adolf Ketlet. I'm not sure if I'm even pronouncing his name right, but bear with me. His goal initially was just to find the size of the average man. He was trying to come up with a formula to describe like population sizes and just find the average man's height and weight. He created something called the Ketlet Index, which later on ended up becoming the BMI Index. It ended up changing in the 1970s, but we'll get to that. His initial goal had nothing to do with health. It really was just literally finding the average size of the average man and woman in the populations and just creating like an index on those sizes. Fast forward from 1830 to 1970s, the World Health Organization adopted the Ketlet Index and ended up turning it into the BMI chart. I believe the main reason why the World Health Organization adopted it is 1, it's quick, 2, it's cheap, and 3, it could be something that's used for a worldwide standard, regardless of technological advances, budget, etc. Now, here's the key point. BMI was never designed to measure health, fitness, or any kind of components like that. It was more just a measure of the average weights and heights of people in a given population. The reason it gained so much popularity is because how easy it was to formulate. All that is needed is a person's height in inches and weight in kilograms, and the formula is very simple from there. All right, some of the weaknesses of the BMI. Number 1, it does not distinguish between fat weight and muscle weight. So for instance, I'll use myself as an example. I'm about 6 feet and 225 pounds. So according to BMI chart, as you can see, I'm pretty obese. However, my body fat percentage usually hovers between 10 and 13%. So I wouldn't consider myself obese, but it's been that way for about 20 something years since I had my first adult growth spurt when I was 16 years old. A second weakness of the BMI is it doesn't really talk about your body's composition. Where you tend to store your body fat matters a lot as well too. So for instance, like your visceral fat levels, which is very important when it comes to just general health and physical fitness. But also things like high cholesterol, high blood pressure, etc. When you have too much abdominal fat, it tends to be really hard to lose and also can lend to some of those other non-healthy conditions. Also, there's some clear ethnic and racial components. This was obviously a Belgian mathematician. He had to work with what he had. I've never been to Belgium. As far as I hear, it's a very diverse set of people. However, the predominant majority are white folks, European white folks. And obviously our world is filled with more than just European white folks. Colonialism speaks, but not that loudly. So, yeah. If I could give you maybe 2 takeaways from this video about BMI, number 1, I would focus on using the BMI as one tool, but not the whole picture. Like, don't degrade yourself or make yourself too big based on the BMI scale. I've seen people be right at the ideal BMI weight and still not be very healthy. And people like myself have been obese on the BMI and are pretty healthy people. Number 2, focus on functional health improvements, getting stronger, having better blood tests when you go to the doctor, things like that can do a better job of explaining how healthy you are, not just a number that's on a 200-year-old scale. 3, let's think the big picture. Where do you want to be 20 years from now? It's not always about just how you look, but also how you feel, how your energy levels are, your immunity, just functional fitness and ability to move and do things that you want to do with your kids and your family. That stuff really does matter in the long term.